What's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to show you a 9-step system on how to properly purchase a house using a realtor. Most likely if you're watching this, it's me sending it to you. We're working together with one another on a future purchase of yours. It's a great system from start to finish to make sure that you feel comfortable and confident when purchasing a home. However, if you just came across my YouTube channel and you found this, make sure you go step by step with your real estate agent to make sure that you're getting the deal that you need at the end of the day. But hey, real quick, if you find value in this, please make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you can see what content is coming out next. Step number one is going to be our strategic buyers meeting. So during the strategic buyers meeting, we can do this one of two ways. We can get together over a cup of coffee or over Zoom, but this is step one. We need to go over your needs, and what I call this is your needs assessment. How many bedrooms do you need? How many bathrooms? Do you need land? Maybe you're looking for a certain area within the city for school systems and all that kind of stuff. If that's important to you, I need to make sure I know exactly what you're looking for so I don't send you homes that you're not interested in. I want to make sure that we can get together and figure out specifically what you need. And the other part of this meeting that we need to talk about is your financial situation. I'm not a financial advisor, but I want to make sure it's clear how much money you're going to need for a down payment and then potential closing costs you're going to run into so you know exactly how much money you're going to need to bring to the table when it comes to the purchase of your next home. And last but not least, during this meeting, it's my goal to make sure that you feel comfortable and confident through the whole process. I want you to know step by step exactly what's going to happen from start to finish. So instead of going to a house and being nervous, you can step in there feeling confident to know, is this the right house for us or isn't it? And when that does happen and it is the right house, you can move forward without being nervous about the process. Step two, the mortgage pre-approval. I'm sorry, but we can't go and look at houses until this is done. If you're a cash buyer, that's a different story, but we need to have a pre-approval letter in hand because it's strategic. And what I mean by that is when you find a home, let's say it's like an 8.5 to a 9.5 out of 10 for exactly what you're looking for. It's super important to be able to strategically place an offer at that time, because if we wait and you get pre-approved, more showings can happen on the right house, and then all of a sudden you have competition compared to later in this video. I'm going to talk about strategically offers and negotiations and stuff like that, but you need to make sure that when you find the right house, you can move quickly when it is the right one. And then number two, something to understand too is your pre-approval letter. Depending on your current situation, they're usually good for 60 to 90 days, so it gives us enough time to actually move forward when looking at homes, because it might take you 5 homes to find the right house, or it might take 20. It just depends on your situation and finding the right one. So it's gonna have enough time. Some pre-approvals are even 6 months long. But that's step number two, the pre-approval process. Step number three is gonna be your offer. In the state of Georgia, it's gonna be the purchase and sale agreement. And when it comes to the purchase and sale agreement, there's 5 key things that you need to know. Real quick, if you don't know what these things mean, go to my YouTube channel, click on playlist, and click on Buyer FAQ, frequently asked questions. I have 24 or 25 videos in there that explains all of these words in depth, definitions, and anything when it comes to the buying process from start to finish to make you an expert when it comes to purchasing a home. The very first thing we need on that purchase and sale agreement is an offer price. Now, I'm going to do what's called a CMA, a comparable market analysis, to make sure that that property compared to other similar properties in the area is worth what the seller is asking. Again, it's important with the negotiation process that you save as much money as you can while leveraging the purchase price in a specific way that the seller is going to accept. You don't want to give them such a lowball offer if you can't present evidence. Now, if I do the CMA and I pull comparables and it is a lower offer, but it matches up, it's a good thing because we can get it done. The next thing is going to be the seller's closing costs. It's their contribution. So it's going to be a box on the purchase and sale agreement of how much money you want the seller to bring to the closing table. Now, how this typically works is, say you purchase a home for $500,000 and say you request $5,000. The new purchase price, or the check that the seller is going to get, of course, you know, their mortgage stuff has to come out and all that kind of stuff, you technically be purchasing the property at $495,000 if you request $5,000 in closing costs. So something you can do sometimes with the loan is offer more, but ask them, hey, can you put some closing cost money down so it evens it out, it makes it a fair deal at the end of the day, and you can get some help when it comes to closing money, but your loan might be a little bit more expensive. Again, go to YouTube, playlists, frequently asked questions. I have more in-depth information on that there. Next is the closing date. Now, depending on your loan, it might take a little bit longer. If you're paying cash, we can close this as soon as 10 days. Now, typically you're gonna look for somewhere between 30 to 45 days for a full closing. Now, if it's like an FHA loan or a VA home loan or a conventional loan, like one of the typical ones, we can see about 30 days. Now, there is a program called the Georgia Dream. Now, it helps homeowners with down payment assistance programs and some other stuff. That might take a little bit longer, more towards 45 days. But a general rule of thumb is when I put my offer in, I can take possession somewhere between 30 to 45 days on average. The next one is going to be earnest money. Now, this is your deposit to the seller to say, hey, I'm serious about this. Typically, we want to say that we'll get you the money within 3 days, and that's usually either a check or a wire transfer. Now, when it comes to it, within 24 hours, you want to make sure that that check is signed and given to me so I can take it to the attorney's office. I prefer if the holder of earnest money is the attorney. So if there's any disputes between parties, we go through the attorney to make sure that you're safe with your money throughout the process. Then we have the due diligence period. So this is going to be the time that we can get the inspector inside, we can review the report, we get the earnest money in and all that kind of stuff. We typically see over here in Georgia about 7 days. Now, purchase and sale agreement's complete, but there's things we need to attach to the purchase and sale agreement. The first one is going to be your seller's disclosure. Now, the seller in Georgia, typically it's a 7-page long document, and it's going to go over certain things that happened to the house previously. Has there ever been termites? Was there roof damage? How old is the roof? How old is the water heater, the AC unit? And then something important on here is the second to last page goes over what's staying with the house, right? Is the refrigerator staying? Is the washer and dryer staying? Is the chandelier in the living room staying? It's going to show you exactly everything that stays with the house, and this document's going to be important later, but also it's a great reference point to see if you need to buy a new washer and dryer or if you're going to be able to take possession of the next one when you move in. Then we got the community association disclosure. So if you live in a neighborhood, typically you're going to have dues every single month to them. Say you got a pool or they upkeep. It's going to show you exactly what that money goes to, and it's going to show you the rules within the community. Super important, because what happens if you have an RV and you want to purchase a house and then you find out the community doesn't let you park that out front? Document you really need to take notice of, read thoroughly, and you're going to have to sign it and attach it to the purchase and sale agreement. And then finally, we have what's called a loan contingency. Cash buyers, don't worry about it, but if you are going with a loan, it's going to be the contingency to make sure that the seller understands there's a certain amount of time period that goes through, that if your loan falls through, you're going to be protected throughout the process. Now, please do not go buy a new car. Do not put things on credit. Don't do anything on your credit card during this process, because it can ruin your chances of becoming a homeowner. And if your loan falls through and it's your fault and it's not due to some back end stuff, you can be held liable and you'll lose your earnest money. So please be careful when it comes to that. And then finally, I forgot to add this in here. On the purchase and sale agreement, you have a section called special stipulations. Say there's an above ground pool outside that you don't want, you can request the seller on the purchase and sale agreement to remove it. Or you could say that you would request certain things to stay. This is something that you can do later on in the negotiation process, but if there's something specific up front that you want removed or want something done, go ahead and put it in the purchase and sale agreement so that the seller can actually know before accepting the offer. Step 4, we have the counter offer. This is typical because with the right agent, they're going to go to bat for you and negotiate at a high level. When it comes to purchase price, when it comes to the actual things that we need to make sure that you get the best deal possible. Okay, so it is typical if a negotiation happens back and forth. And what that's going to say is that the agent on the other side is going to take our purchase and sale agreement, keep it how it is, and then only change what's on that line. So for example, if you request the outside fence to be repaired and they say no, the whole purchase and sale agreement stays the same, but they're saying no to that. As soon as that gets signed, guess what? You're under contract and we can move forward. Next, we have the inspection, and please, no matter who you are, get a home inspection on your house done. I'm gonna get this ordered for you within 24 hours of going under contract. If you're out of state or you're not specifically working with me, get it done within 24 hours. The very next step with that, we're gonna meet on a Zoom call and we're gonna go over that inspection report line for line, and we're gonna go through what do you want repaired, what do you want replaced, or are you okay with that specifically? Now understand this, cosmetic issues, normal wear and tear, we can't really request those. It's overboard. If you wanted something that was brand new, we need to be looking at new construction homes. Now, foundational issues, the water heater looks like it's about to bust and the inspector said, hey, it's on its lifeline, it's rusted out, it needs a new one. Those are things we can go ahead and request. And then once we make those requests, it's gonna get typed up on a document, sent over, and if they sign, it's good to go through the rest of the process, and then we can move on to the next step. And the next step is gonna be earnest money. So we talked about in the purchase and sale agreement, within 24 hours, we need a check or that money wired over. Now, say we put 3 days down, it just gives us enough time to get that money to the attorney. So again, within the first 24 hours. Number 7, the appraisal. So this is something that your loan officer is gonna order, and it's for the bank. Now, the reason you get an appraisal is not usually because you want one, it's because you have to have one done. It's the bank's way of saying if you don't make your payment on your house, the house is worth what it is, so if they repossess it, they can sell it and get fair market value for it and not go under. But again, if you get to the process, say you offer $500,000 for a house, appraisal comes back at 480, guess what? We're renegotiating and we're gonna offer 480,000 because that's what it's worth. So if you do end up making an offer over and you don't put in the special stipulation section that I'm going to pay that no matter what, when the time comes back through, we can actually go back and we can renegotiate the price of your house. Number 8, we have the final walkthrough. I recommend every single house you do a final walkthrough. What we're gonna do is get that seller's disclosure and we're gonna walk through the house and check off the lines. If they said the refrigerator's gonna stay, we're gonna get eyes on that fridge and we're gonna make sure it's there. We're gonna visually check the house, make sure nothing changed, because sometimes the seller can move stuff out and say, I hope this wouldn't happen to you. But say they hit the couch on the door and you notice that one of the doors are broken, but it wasn't broken beforehand. Those are things we need to check before going to the closing table to make sure when you take possession of your house, it's exactly the house that you paid for and the seller didn't accidentally damage or take things they promised would stay. And number 9, we are at the closing table. Okay, the documents that you need, again, I have a quick little YouTube video that will show you document for document that you need to bring. But typically when we get here, you're signing mortgage papers, you're signing things with the attorney, and then once everything is signed, you get your keys and you move into your next home. So there you have it. Those are 9 steps that will show you how to purchase a home. Now, if you need more examples or more definitions or a more in-depth look at things, go to my YouTube channel, make sure you check out the playlist, Buyer Frequently Asked Questions, and then from there, you'll know exactly what you need in order to purchase a house more in depth. It's a great study tool, and also once you go through those videos, you will know just as much as I do when it comes to purchasing a house, and you will feel comfortable and confident through the whole process. Thank you so much for staying until the end of the video. If you found some sort of value, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you know the next time I put out another video. But here's the deal. I need your help. I need you to text me at 478-220-8220 and give me some suggestions. I don't just want to post these videos for my enjoyment. I'm here for you. If you want to see more property tours or maybe some other stuff to do in the Middle Georgia area, let me know. I'd love to know about your suggestions, and also go in the comments below. Type them down there, and I'd love to get started on the next project.